Okay, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing Unit 3, Notes 7. So we're going to today talk about multiplying binomials. So bi means two. Alright, so that means we're multiplying two terms. And we're going to start with that, and we're going to get a little bit more involved with that. So if you guys are thinking back to biology, you did something called a Punnett square. And we're actually going to be using that Punnett square idea for something we're doing today. I call it the box method. So the box method is an easy way of multiplying two binomials. Okay, it kind of lays it out nicely for us. So the first thing you're going to do is draw your box. You're going to line up your binomial on each side of the box and line up the terms. So that'll make more sense in a second. Then you're going to multiply each term into the box. Write out your terms, combine like terms. Now remember, when you combine like terms, that you only add things that have the same exponent. And likewise, when you add things with the same exponent, you do not add the exponents. All right, and then you want to put it in standard form. Now remember that standard form, your exponents need to be going in descending order with your constant coming at the end. So let's take a look at number 1. Okay, so we're just going to start this out. So first thing we want to do is draw our box. So because I have two binomials, I'm going to make a box that's 2 by 2. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to line it up. It does not matter which order you line the binomials up. So I'm going to make that x minus 1. Now notice when I lined it up, I took that minus sign and put it with it. Then up here, I'm going to do x minus 4. So now I have it set up outside the box. Now I need to multiply into the box. So to multiply into the box, for this box here, I'm going to take x to the first times x to the first. Now remember, when you multiply x to the first times x to the first, you need to add those exponents and you get x squared. Next thing I need to do is I need to get this box, multiply this by this. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Next thing I need to do is I need to multiply this times this and put that here. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And last but not least, for that last box here, I need to multiply negative 1 times a negative 4. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 4 is 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and write out the terms that I have. So x squared minus 4x minus 1x plus 4. So now I need to combine like terms. Notice when I wrote it out, I wrote it in standard form. So my exponents are already going in descending order. So I'm going to combine my like terms. I can add those two middle terms together. So x squared is going to stay the same. Negative 4x minus 1x, I'm going to subtract, so that's going to be negative 5x. And then it's going to, remember, stay as x. And then you're going to add 4. So that right there is our final answer. That's it. That's all you have to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. So first thing we're going to do is set up our box. We have x and 2 down the columns, x and 5 across the top. X to the first times x to the first. Add those exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. Just know x times x is always going to be x squared. X times 5 is 5x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. So then I'm going to go ahead and write out the terms that I have. So x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. So now I'm going to go ahead and I need to combine those middle two terms. So I'll keep x squared the same. 5x plus 2x is 7x. And then we're going to add that 10 on at the end. So again, this right here is our final answer for number 2. Let's take a look at number 3. So let's make these a little bit bigger so we can see them. So for number 3, now we have a coefficient out front. That's okay. We can deal with that. So remember, our first step is to set up our box. We're multiplying two binomials, so our box is 4 by 4. So we have x plus 1 going down that side. And then here we have 2x plus 1. So for the first box, we need to multiply x times 2x. Well, you can look at this as 1x. Remember, when you're multiplying monomials, you multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. 1 times 2 is 2. X to the first times x to the first is going to give you x squared. 1x times 1 is just going to give you x. 1 times 2x gives you 2x. And last but not least, 1 times 1 is going to give you 1. So let's go ahead and write that out. So we have 2x squared plus x plus 2x plus 1. So now we want to add those middle two terms. That's all we can combine. Well, remember, this is the same as 1x. If there's no coefficient, it's 1x. 1x plus 2x is going to give me 3x, and then plus 1. So that's my final answer for number 3. Let's take a look at number 4. So we're going to multiply out that box. So here I'm going to have x and then minus 1. Here, x and minus 3. X to the first times x to the first, that's going to give us x squared. X times negative 3, negative 3x. Negative 1 times x, negative x. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. So now we want to go ahead and write out our terms. So I'm going to write everything out that was in my box. And now I need to combine like terms. Well, I can combine those middle two terms. So x squared is going to stay the same. Negative 3x minus x, that's going to get more negative, and that's going to actually give us a negative 4x, and then plus 3. So that's your final answer for number 4. Let's keep looking at more examples. Let's take a look at number 5. So for number 5, I'm going to set up my box. I have 3x plus 1 here, and then I'm going to have x plus 2 going down. So I have 1x times 3x. So 1 times 3 is 3. X to the first times x to the first, add those exponents and you get x squared. 1x times 1 is just x. 2 times 3 is 6, and then x. 2 times 1 is 2. So we're going to go ahead and write those terms out. Plus 6x, plus 2. So again, I want to combine those middle two terms. So I have 3x squared, this should be a 1x. 1x plus 6x is going to give me 7x, and then I'm going to add that 2. So 3x squared plus 7x plus 2 is our answer for number 5. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 6. So number 6 is a little bit different because we have that x squared. So I have x squared and 3 going down this side, and 3x plus 5. Again, you can flip-flop these as long as your parentheses stay on the same side. So now I'm taking x squared times 3x to the first. Well, 1 times 3 is 3. X to the first times x squared. 1 plus 2 is 3. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 3 times 3 is 9, and then don't forget to bring that x. And 3 times 5 is 15. So now we can go ahead and write out all of our terms. So as I'm writing this, I'm putting the exponents in descending order, so I start getting it close to standard form. Well, when I write all of that out, I notice that I don't have any like terms. So this right here is our final answer. Next, let's take a look at this one. So the box method still works if you're multiplying more than two binomials. You just have to make enough columns and rows for what you have. So the only thing that's changing now is our box is going to get a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So for number 7, what we want to do is we want to make a box. I notice I have 2 and I have 3. So I'm going to make a longer box. So I still have 2 here, but then I'm going to make 3 columns across. So I have x and 2, and then I have x squared, 3x, and 5. So now this is the same as x to the first. X to the first times x squared. Add those exponents and you get x cubed. X times 3x. 1 times 3 is 3. X to the first times x to the first. Add those exponents and you get x squared. X times 5 is 5x. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6, and then you'll keep the x. 2 times 5 is 10. So we have x cubed plus 3x squared. Then I notice there's a 2x squared there, so I'm going to write that next. Plus 5x plus 6x plus 10. So as I was writing out each of my terms, I made sure I put the exponents in descending order, so I'm helping getting myself to that standard form. So I have that x cubed to start off with. 3x squared plus 2x squared. 3 plus 2 is 5. X squared is going to stay the same, so that's going to be x squared. Next, I see that I have 5x plus 6x. Well, 5 plus 6 is 11. And again, that x is going to stay the same. And last but not least, there's that constant of 10 at the end. So this guy right there is my final answer. All right. I'm going to erase this so we have a little bit of room. Whoa. Erase that so we have a little bit of room on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at this next one. So again, I'm going to create a box that's 2 by 3. X minus 4, 2x squared, 3x, and then 4. So now, x times 2x squared. This is the same as x to the first. X to the first times x squared is x cubed. X times 3x, that's going to give me 3x squared. X times 4, that's going to give me 4x. Negative 4 times 2x squared is negative 8x squared. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and then x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So then we have 2x cubed, and now I'm going to write my x squared. So I have 3x squared minus 8x squared. Then I'm going to write my x's, so I have 4x and negative 12x, and then that constant at the end, which is minus 16. So now I want to go ahead and I want to add all of my like terms. So 2x cubed doesn't have a like term. 3x squared minus 8x squared. 3 minus 8 is negative 5, and then x squared is going to stay the same. Next, 4x minus 12x is going to be a negative 8, and then the x will stay the same, and then we have a minus 16. So this right here is your final answer for number 8. Let's take a look at 9 and 10. Same kind of idea, setting up that box. So we're going to go like this, 2x and 3, and then here 4x squared, 5x, and then minus 1. So here we're going to have 2 times 4, which is 8. X to the first times x squared is x cubed. 2 times 5 is 10, and then we have x. 2x times a negative 1 is a negative 2x. 3 times 4 is 12, and then we have x squared. 3 times 5x is 15, and then we have x. 3 times a negative 1 is a negative 3. So then we have 8x cubed, and then this should be a squared. Then we have 10x squared plus 12x squared minus 2x plus 15x minus 3. I will leave that for you guys to combine the like terms on your own. Let's go ahead, and I just want to get number 10 set up for you guys. So all this means is it's just going to be a little bit of a larger box. So now my box is going to be 3 by 3. So x squared, 4x, negative 7, x squared, 3x, and 5. So when you multiply into the box, I'm going to have you do this one on your own. X squared times x squared is going to be x to the 4th. Just continue working your way through the box. Okay, if you have questions, feel free to come up and I'll do it for you up at the front board. So let's take a look at this one. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So to get the area of this triangle, we're going to take 1/2 times the base times the height. So to start off with, we need to multiply 3x minus 1 times 2x plus 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. Here we're going to get negative 2x. Here, 9x. And then here we're going to get a negative 3x. So we get 6x squared minus 2x plus 9x minus 3. Combine like terms, 6x squared plus 7x minus 3. So the last thing I need to do is deal with that 1/2. So I need to take and I need to basically divide each of those by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so I have 3x squared. Well, 7 divided by 2, you could write that as 3.5, but I'm going to write it as a fraction, which is 7/2 x. Negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 3/2. So this right here is your final answer. So sorry I had to rush through those. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Otherwise, this concludes your note video today. Please show me your completed note sheet up front.